Hello, Cherries fans. Welcome back to another season for AFC Bournemouth here on Cherries Red Army YouTube channel. It's the first watch along of the season. It's the first game of the season. Yes, we are back for a second go at this, and hopefully it'll be even better this time around. Obviously, it's still half an hour till kickoff. Not a lot of you in. That's absolutely fine. But thank you very much to those who are joining me. Please do join along with me in the chat. Obviously, I'm sure a number of you will be doing whatever you can to stay in touch with the game. But please do get yourself involved. Please ask questions. Get along with each other in the chat, and yeah, we'll have a bit of fun. Nice to see some of you here already. Hello, Phoenix. Hello, Sean. And David, all the way from Australia. Thanks for joining us. I'm sure things are busy over there with the World Cup. What time is it for you? It must get boring. I ask what time it is over there every single time I think you're ever on or even post on the channel. But thanks for joining us. And Ben, you promised you'd be here. Thank you very much. Welcome. So yeah, we're back. We're back again. I've decided to shell out on the lovely third kit. No sponsorship. I do think it looks a little bit better without. And I don't really like the idea of advertising gambling to children. So regardless, I do really like this kit. Closing in on midnight. Yeah. Well, thanks for staying up this late for us, David. And hope you get a good night. So hopefully it's a good game, but it's not too exciting that you can't sleep. That's what I'd probably say. Well, I suppose I better get to more information on the match rather than just keeping my face on camera the whole time, although it probably will be there. Good, it started working. There are the lineups. So we have, courtesy of Kirk again, smashing the two lineup slots together. We have Bournemouth's first lineup and we have West Ham's first lineup. Now, in terms of Bournemouth, I think the big thing was the right back. Got Sean here saying, worried about the right back if he was told to defend. That's it, easy enough. But given our style, he needs to know when to attack. Never good in sending down the right-hand side. True, I do agree with you, but I also don't think it is the most tactically... what's the word? It's not the hardest to understand, I would say, the Iraola's role out of all of the players on the pitch. You need to work very hard defensively. You need to work very hard going forward. And stay wide mostly, but finding the right positions. He'll have had a day. He'll have been run through a few of the things that he needs to do. But I agree with you. It is a slight worry because we do have Aaron starting, which was the big call, I think, at right back. Zabani and Senesi is the centre back partnership, which we all expected. Kirkez obviously was only ever going to start on the left. No Cook involved. No Lewis Cook, which is an interesting one. Obviously, there must be some kind of injury, but Joe Rothwell is an able deputy to play in central midfield. Obviously, him playing as more of the holding midfielder is not really his thing, but I'm sure he'll do a good job and is very, very precious on the ball and can be a good distributor and dribbler. So hopefully he has a good game. Got Philip Billing, only known as Philip now. In the other centre midfield slot, and then our front four consists of Solanke up front, obviously, and then you've got Christie, Brooks, and Anthony. And considering the way that they have put those names in, it looks like Christie's going to be playing at right mid, and Brooks is going to be the supporting number 10, which is interesting. I expected Brooks to play off the right and Christie to be central. But I do prefer Christie to be the one with the more defensive responsibilities and Brooks to be able to just be completely free and be where the hell he likes, really. With Anthony obviously playing off the left. And the good news is obviously you have the left-footed right winger on the right and you have the right-footed left winger on the left. They're able to come inside and the fullbacks can bomb on. So we'll be able to see what happens with Aarons and Kirkes. As for West Ham, we have Areola instead of Fabianski, which is, to be honest, they're both very good goalkeepers. It doesn't matter too much. Kufal right back. Zuma is now captain, which is an interesting one, considering the headlines that he made over the last couple of seasons. Aged, decent centre back. Emerson at left back. Got Souček, Paqueta, and Fornals in the middle, which is interesting. He's not there. I expected Downs to play, but he's not even he's not even on the subs bench. Then you've got Bowen off the right, Benrahma off the left, and Antonio up top. The difficulty for us is undoubtedly going to be dealing with their height, physicality, and set pieces. Set pieces has been an issue for us, for God knows how long. So that's going to be the issue, and that's going to be the thing that we've really got to do our best to deal with, because it's not going to be easy. But yeah, it should be fun. Don't worry, it is daytime outside, but unfortunately, those of you that are decent with photography will know that lighting is everything in front of a camera, and I cannot have anything. I cannot have my windows open and still you be able to see my face with any clarity at all, which some may find a blessing. But I think, considering I'm the only face on this, it would be preferable that I'm not in shade the entire time. Let's have a look at some comments that I've missed. So, Phoenix, hoping as unrealistic as it might be, we'll smash West Ham 4-0 just to get some revenge from the 4-0 thrashing they gave us in the last few years. I mean, if it happened, I'd be delighted. But, I mean, on the preview that we did on Cherries in Focus episode 4, I said 2-2. And I do think a draw would still be a good result. I don't think you can really be too disappointed with a draw. If you don't lose not losing the first game of the season, I think is more important. Welcome to AFCB. I mean, I highly doubt this is the official channel, but interesting to give yourself that name. But fair enough. Loyal fan, clearly. Roy, come on the Cherries, absolutely. Phoenix, do you think we'll ever try at Rothwell at Cam? Unlikely. I think he has definitely. You only need to look at his Blackburn stats to see that he got better the further up the pitch he played, which is why him being a defensive midfielder today is maybe not ideal. But I don't think he has the creative spark that Brooks has. Having said that, it's not like Christie's really going to be any better than him. But I think Brooks in the 10 or Traore in the 10 is the other one I want to see there, or Billing. I don't think he is able to do better than either of those three in the Cam role. I kind of want to cook and Rothwell. Feels to me that Philip is the one stepping in rather than Joe. Yeah, I guess. Personally, I prefer Billing to be the one that's given the attacking freedom out of the two sitting players in midfield, because I think that Billing can do everything, and you want him turning up late in the box. But I get that Cook and Rothwell can be a combination. I'm assuming when you're saying that, Ben, you'd play Billing as the 10. But yeah, I don't know. I think we definitely need a ball winner. We definitely need. That's the one player that we're missing. And can anyone tell me that we've been linked with a proper ball winning central midfielder, like a proper DM? Because I can't remember a single DM that we've been linked with this entire preseason or postseason. Phoenix, that's a good thought, Ben. Why not try both? What we need, if there's some information, it's a ball winner. Yeah, there you go. Ball winner. And then I personally would play Billing next to him, but depending on how committed Billing is, we might play Rothwell there instead. I think Rothwell would do that job really well. Yeah, we certainly do. We've got a lot of strength up there. Sad to see Rothwell as the holding. I'm assuming you mean midfielder, Sean, as he's so good attacking, but given options, probably best decision. Otherwise, it's Kilkenny. Yeah, Kilkenny's too lightweight at the moment, and I do think that you can't have him. You can have him as the Pirlo, as it were, the defensive midfielder that sits there, receives the ball from the back and sprays balls across. But you cannot have him as a ball winner because he's just not. Draw and a penalty breakthrough. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, that's true. I did mention if we got a draw, that'd be the first one we've had in over 20 matches. Yep, Phoenix, me too. I think he's been looking brilliant in preseason. I have him on my fantasy team because I want to have at least one Bournemouth player in there, and I've stuck him in my fantasy team, so I'm hoping he gets something. Yeah, you did mean midfielder. The RG lads who went to Porto. Yeah, but that was fans. I don't remember that being like. I'm pretty sure it was just fans that were talking about that one. I don't remember any even halfway reputable transfer gurus saying that. And there was one mentioned last night. Yeah, I think Cook is actually okay in that role. He's very aggressive, and I think when he was doing his best for us in the first 2 seasons, when he signed for us, very aggressive ball winner. Really like a lot of the stuff that he was doing in that double pivot under Howe, but he doesn't quite have the awareness. I think at times does get caught a little too much. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, nothing official. Game starts at 3. Yep, it's a standard 3 p.m. kickoff. Nothing special. It'll be a few more games coming up later down the line that won't be 3 a.m. Kickoff. Speaking of which, we might as well have a look at what Bournemouth's coming fixtures are, and let's get some opinions from everyone about how we think Bournemouth are going to do. Speaking of which, can we get your predictions in? Put down your predictions now, and we'll get some ideas on what people are thinking. There's 18 currently watching. And for those of you that are watching and are already joining me now, please do hit that like button. Whenever you feel like it, just scroll down to the bottom of the video. It's what, about here-ish, there-ish. Just hit that thumbs up. It's just a little thing that does help this video, while it's going live, get a little bit more coverage on YouTube's front page. And obviously just puts it to more people just generally through the day. So let me bring up Bournemouth's fixtures, not news, fixtures. So zoom in a bit so it's a bit easier for everyone to see. There we go. There's our first 8 fixtures, including our EFL Cup second round game. A home to West Ham is probably the easiest game that we're going to have in our first 7 league matches. You look through that. West Ham at home, Liverpool away, Tottenham at home, Brentford away, Chelsea at home, Brighton away, Arsenal at home. You couldn't pick a much more difficult set of fixtures, I think. Brentford obviously is the one that you'd hope, because we're going there while they don't have Tony. We might have a bit more of a chance. But what do people think? Like, how many points do people realistically think we're going to get from this first 7 games? Let's not worry about the cup game for now. Just be interested. Like, do people think we'll get 1 win? If you think we'll get a couple wins, who do you think we'll beat? It's going to be a really hard start to the season. I mentioned my prediction. Let's put up a few of everyone else's. We've got Sean says 3-1 Bournemouth. Wait a minute, 1-3 Bournemouth. We are at home, mate. I'm assuming you mean we're going to win 3-1. Ben, it was 3-1 last night. I reduced that to 2-1. Oh, but feeling less confident now. Okay. Archie, welcome, Archie. 2-1 to the Cherries. AFCB is going 3-2 to the Cherries. Roy's going 2-1. People feeling very confident, which I like to hear. Hoping 4-0. You mentioned that before, but realistically, I have a feeling 2-2. Maybe we'll nick it 3-2. It could be high scoring. It really could. We've got David going 2-2. I don't know whether you can hear that, because it's pretty darn warm in my room, so I've got the window open. If you can hear the airplane flying by, then I do apologize. There might be some ambient noise coming through my my mic. Actually, I'm guessing, is that 5 points you're thinking from those first 7? I don't think that's too bad, really, considering the games. Need to sneak an unexpected win, hopefully 5 to 6 points. Phoenix is going 5 to 7 points. I think that's all a realistic target. I think if you're saying, if we all said 5-6 points, you're looking at probably 1 win and 2 or 3 draws out of 7. So we're thinking, a lot of people are very positive they're going to beat West Ham. So if I'm obviously not 100% confident, but if we assume that the first one is against West Ham is the win, your draws we're picking up. Let's say a draw away at Brentford, I think is a decent shout. I think maybe a draw at home to Spurs. I think we've got a decent shot, and then a draw at home to Chelsea. I think I'm guessing is what a lot of people would probably say. I don't see us getting anything away at Brighton, or even at home, or at home to Arsenal, or away at Liverpool. But I think aiming for something in half of those games, or getting anything from half those games, I think will be a good start, because it gets a lot easier after that. If we scroll down, after Arsenal, we've got Everton, Wolves, and Burnley. Now, those three will be massive. Obviously, then you've got Man City and Newcastle, which are two very hard games. Welcoming Eddie back again. Sheffield United away, we should be winning that. Aston Villa will be very hard. Crystal Palace, we should look to get something more from that than we did last season. But anyway, we're pushing a little bit ahead. It's early days at this point. Ben, Spurs will be heartbroken over Kane. You say we always beat Chelsea. What did we get last season? We got 0 points from Chelsea last season, if I remember correctly. Brentford, like us, are a third-tier team. Plenty of points and optimism. Yeah, no, I think so. And heck, if we did beat Chelsea, that would be a pretty darn good result. So we have about 12 minutes to kick off. Bournemouth debuting the new warm-up gear on Twitter. Zabani showing off if my stream decides to load what I've got here. There we go. Takes a bit of time. What are we thinking of the warm-up gear? I quite like that, actually. It's kind of 90s again. It's not quite as bonkers as the goalkeeper shirts from back in the 90s, but I quite like that. I don't know. I've got a thing for geometric patterns, sort of thing. People's thoughts, that warm-up gear? Not that I'm saying anyone's going to buy it, but I think that's quite nice, actually. Let's see. So, 10 minutes to go. Let me just put up very briefly a thank you to our monthly members. You can donate for a one-off donation, or you can do a regular donation if you go to buymeacoffee.com/Cherries Red Army. Huge thank you to everyone who helps us keep these things rolling, because there are costs for making sure that we've got able to use our streaming service, and the occasional upgrade to a mic or something like that that's able to make sure we give you some good quality content. And there was an additional donation that we got, I think it was this morning, that Kirk wanted me to thank. A new member, James Burnett, as well, was a new member this morning. So along with the ones I just showed up on screen, a huge thank you to James Burnett as well for becoming a member. And yes, it's just really appreciated for anyone that wants to assist and donate with helping run the show. He's wearing a Rorschach. I don't think it's quite like that, Ben, but I get where you're coming from. Yeah, looking good. Wonder if we are not going to see much black and red, as especially the third kit seems better. I don't know. I certainly think the away kit is my least favorite. Not that I hate it at all, but I think that's my least favorite. I do really like the home kit. I just about prefer the third, but the thing is, there's not a lot you can do to black and red stripes. Once you've got that as your thing, it's basically how wide are the stripes, and that's it, really. Obviously, we went a bit bonkers with it last season with the zigzags, which I thought was a decent spin on it. It wasn't the greatest, but I think it was a pretty good spin on what is a pretty simple pattern. But I quite like it. I think sometimes you do need to emphasize the black over the red just to change things up a bit. But it should be. I think we'll see plenty of that this season. I don't see why not. Oh God, it's still 9 minutes. Can tell it's the first one of the season. I am not back quite into the swing of things yet. So, before we start, has anyone got any questions to ask the people watching or me? What do you think of the team? What do you think of the manager? How excited are you to see this new style? For those of you that haven't been able to watch much of pre-season, is this going to be the first game that you really keep across? There's just so many unknowns in this first game. So there's a lot to take in, I think, in the first ones. Sean, will you be doing the first games? I am going to plan on doing a watch along for about half the games this season. I think might get a decent bit more, but I'm planning on about half of the games at the moment because I've already got tickets to Liverpool away because I'm a glutton for punishment, and 9-0 last year didn't scare me off enough. So I am going to Liverpool next weekend, but it is a short hop for me. For those of you who don't know, I live in Manchester, so I am an exile like Ben and a number of others. So we can't really get to home games very much. So it's away games are the ones that we can get to, and I certainly will be getting to Man City, Man United, Liverpool, and Everton are the four that I will definitely get to. I also really want to get to Nottingham Forest again. I will try and get to Luton away because my father lives in Milton Keynes, so it'd be an easy stopover for me. But then after that, and maybe one or two others in the area. After that, so I'm only hoping to get to about 6 or 7 games. So I think other than that, I will be trying to get at least half of those to be watch-alongs, probably over half of them to be watch-alongs. And yeah, I want to get a lot more of these going because I felt these were really fun for me last year. Even when we lost, I had some really good conversations with everyone that joined in. So I do want to get a lot of these going this season. What do I think the score will be? I think it'd be 2-2. I think that's my prediction at the moment. I think it'd be 2-2. I think we. So here's the tactical battle for me. The way that I see it, Bournemouth want to really press incredibly high up the pitch. That's great. I want to see that. We all want to see that. West Ham don't care. West Ham will play it about a little bit at the back, but they'll just go over the press. So how effective will the press be if we can't action it as well as Iraola wants it to be? And bearing in mind it's early days, we won't have this style anywhere near perfect. So we'll push up on their centre-backs and they'll just lob it straight over our players. At which point, it's can Senesi and Zabani deal with Antonio? Is Aaron's going to be able to keep up with Benrahma, who's, I think, still quite underrated? And then there's Bowen. And Kirkes against Bowen will be a hell of a fun battle on that side. The midfield we should dominate, but that's just because they'll put it over the midfield half the time. So can we create chances without the press necessarily working? And can we prevent West Ham from being able to do everything that they want to do in their very physical game that we absolutely lost? We lost 6-0 last season to West Ham over all told. So I think I'm being pretty positive by saying 2-2. I think we'll score, but I think we'll struggle at times. Where do we think we're going to finish? I'll give it 10th. AFCB agrees with you, and Ben also says 10th sounds good. To be honest, it could be anywhere from probably 9th to 17th. It really could be anywhere because we don't know how quickly this is going to work. And if we don't get results quickly, the players might not have as much faith in it as they would like to. Might not have as faith in it if we don't get results early. But I've gone for 13th. I think 13th is pretty good. There's a lot of people that I've seen have got Bournemouth 10th and 11th in their predictions because they rate our window is rated very highly by those that keep across anything more than their team. We've had such a good window, and we're only missing a CDM to make it basically the best window we've ever had. If we get that, then it'll be amazing. But yeah, I'm think 13th is pretty darn good. I think as a sort of like first step on getting up the ladder, to go from 15th, where we were last season, which we got a bit lucky to do, to go up to 13th, and then we can push on again the year after. I think that'll be great. But if anything, actually, I hope we don't do that well, because I don't want Iraola to get poached within 18 months. Can't afford to give soft goals away like we did against them last season. Exactly. Absolutely. Welcome, George. After everyone missed the pre-match feeling up the Cherries. Yes, it's well, it's even better in the stadium, but there's so much hype going on now at the moment, which is brilliant. Owner has already said 13th, 2 places up a season. I think very similarly to Bill Foley then. I mean, if I really did and I'd had his business sense, then I wouldn't be here and I'd be with having a lot more money. But Phoenix, you've gone for 12th. Yeah, to be honest, anywhere in that upper mid-table is really good for us. There's no reason why we shouldn't be looking for something like that. Right, let me get my viewing system sorted, because we are not far away from kickoff. Where's everyone watching from today? Just out of interest. I know David obviously is in Australia. We've got Ben. You're still in Derby, aren't you? Where's everyone watching from today? Do we have anyone else from overseas other than David Codron? A couple minutes away from kickoff. Depending on how you're watching this, I may well be a couple minutes behind the rest of you, so do bear with me in that regard. Where is my ticker? There it is. If something goes on that's interesting, if you want reactions, whatever it is, whatever question you've got, if you've got a question for me, if you see something in the game and you think, I wonder what Jon thinks, or I wonder what other people think, put it in the chat. Just keep the interaction going. That's, I hope, the point that you're watching this for, not just to have me on screen. As enthused by that as I'm sure you are, but yeah, just keep the questions coming, keep the interaction coming, and if you do like what you see, please do hit the like button. Even better, you can subscribe if you want to keep across all of the watch-alongs that we do this season, along with our weekly show, Cherries in Focus, that we're aiming to do every Monday during this season, unless there's a game on Monday, in which case we'll shift it to Tuesday. But let's see. We are almost there. Kickoff will be happening shortly. So we've got Archie from North London, Sean from sunny Pool. Yes, Ben, like me, might be a little bit behind. So if you do see a goal going in, you're aware of it. Ideally, wait until I've seen it to make a comment. But look, we know how these things work. Phoenix, okay, enjoy the game, mate, and speak to you at half time. I don't think they changed. If you're talking about the there needs to be there only needs to be daylight sort of thing, no, I don't think they did. I think that's a suggestion from Wenger that I'm hoping they don't put in. There will be almost inevitably some kind of minor change. But I don't think they've put in any like drastic amendments to the rules at least to the offside rule. They do have that new time wasting stuff and just general conduct. I think we could see a lot of yellow cards the first few games of the season. Right, so on my screen they've just taken the knee and kickoff is underway. So we'll see sort of how many long balls there are early days. Expecting us to get up the pitch nice and quickly. And in terms of formation and who's playing where, in terms of the attackers, it does look like, actually, it is Christie in the middle and Brooks on the right, which I felt it might be, because just because that's what they were doing in pre-season. That was the formation against Atalanta, and I think it's how they did it against Lorient as well. Obviously, Anthony was playing a right back in that game, not left mid. But long ball over the top there. Kirker's got a little bit lucky, but kept that away from Bowen. And Bournemouth had the ball at the back. Max Aarons making his debut 2 days after signing, playing at the back. Nice ball infield to Rothwell, who's in acres of space. Plays it up to Solanke, and we're in the West Ham half. Billing tries a through ball, but it goes miles past Anthony and out for a goal kick. So I'm at 1:33 on the clock. For those of you that that's something I need to want to make sure that we get in here somewhere. Is I need to get a clock somewhere along here so that anyone that comes in knows where I am in the game. On ball again. Now it's on the left-hand side with Ben Rama. And West Ham are passing it around in the midfield. Aaron's going up against Ben Rama at the back there. Ben Rama with a couple of step overs. Tries a jinx. Aaron's wins the ball. I thought it was going to go out for a corner, but shot comes in. No. Ooh. Fornals tries a shot on the turn, and it goes wide. But first shot in anger of the game. Yeah, Ben Rama going up against Aaron's there on the right-hand side. I'm surprised that he didn't let that go out for a corner, because I thought Aaron's just kicked that towards the byline, but maybe it flicked off Ben Rama and he didn't want to risk it. Long kick up from Bournemouth, contested, and ends up with Brooks, who comes in field, tries to pass it to Anthony, but it gets intercepted by Kufal. Christie's coming a little bit deeper than I think maybe I'd expect to see him most of this game. But it is very definitely Billing and Rothwell sitting and Christie in front. Antonio came wide there to try and get something out of the defence, but it rolls out for a throw-in. Thank you to everyone joining. Ethan, little legend amongst the Bournemouth fans. Oy, 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 Zabarnyi almost giving that away for no reason. I do think Zabarnyi has been absolutely flip-flopping all over the place for me. He's obviously highly rated, but he makes some really bonkers decisions on and off the ball at times. And when he makes a decision that risks things early in the game, sometimes he can just continue to make them. I don't want him to just be another Meps. And I don't mean anything against Mepham by that, but Mepham was brought in thinking he was going to be this ball-playing centre-back, and it turned out that basically, don't worry about it. Just ask him to defend, don't get him to do too much on the ball, and he'll be a really good centre-back in the Premier League. I don't want that to be Zabarnyi, because he's meant to be good on the ball. He's meant to be a decent dribbler out from defence. Speaking of which, that was a really good pass from Zabarnyi to Christie, who gets a bit of a nudge in the back, goes down too easily, and the ref doesn't give anything. And West Ham fly forward, shot from range, but nothing happened there from... Oh, Bowen. Bowen turning up in the middle of the pitch. I wondered who that was for a second. Taking a shot from about 25 yards. Yeah, flies wide. Sean, right now I've hit 5 minutes. There you go. That click. That was 5 minutes on the clock for me. Anti-skeptic. Come on, you Reds. Absolutely. Still 0-0. Bournemouth not really got forward any point within all that much within the first 5 minutes. West Ham have taken 2 shots from range, not really doing anything. Long ball up from Neto, and Anthony does foul Kufal there. There will be a lot of long balls this season, a lot more, well, probably even more long balls than there were last season. We'll play around a bit as well, but okay. That is Emerson charging forward, blocked by Zabani, and then he beats Aarons in the air. Philip Billing clears. Solanke needs to hold on to that. Yes, he does well there and gets it to Christie, who tries to lob it forward to Brooks, who lobs it forward to Christie, who's onside. Christie holds the ball well, gets it to Rothwell, who's bowling forward now into their third, pushing on to Solanke. Solanke with the opportunity to move forward. Bowen gets in the way and tackles him. Need more from Solanke in that situation. Rothwell coming back to attack Fornells. Kirkes bombing inside to deal with it. Ball goes to Anthony. They try to get it to Antonio, but Zabani intercepts, and now it's with Senesi. So far, getting the ball up the pitch has basically been just the long balls. That's been the thing that's got us up the pitch, which I'd like to see. I'd like to see a little bit more control from that. See, that was good, but Anthony there couldn't keep hold of the ball after the long pass. Kirkes up the pitch, pressuring Kufal. 2 slide tackles in a row from Kirkes. You love to see that. 1 on Bowen and then 1 on Kufal. Long throw to Antonio. Billing wins it. Nice bit of skill there to get around Bowen. But he may have got caught there. Yeah. I think acknowledgement from Bowen that he caught Billing. Referee understands it, so he blew the whistle. Aaron's trying to get past Ben Rama. Doesn't do that, but does keep hold of the ball. So we recycle it back round. Long ball from Senesi trying to reach Anthony, who prevents it from going for a goal kick, but he does put it out for a throw. Yeah, like I mentioned, a lot of long balls. Iraola likes a long ball. He wants the ball to be in their half to pushing up, but it's about how successful those balls are going to be. Right now, they haven't had a lot of success, but they've had enough. Sufal heads the ball back. Senesi recycles it, gets to Zabani. Aarons clearly won't be the one that pushes forward as much as Kirkes, but, we'll like to... Oh, dear, Anthony. Simple pass from Rothwell directly into Anthony's feet. He stood still and it manages to go under his foot, or he manages to nutmeg himself. I'm not entirely sure, but he goes out for a throw. They try a long throw again. Doesn't work. We win the ball back. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see more than another season of Senesi in a red and black shirt. I really would not be surprised if Senesi gets a very big move in the summer, maybe even January. I think he's just a step above for me. I really think he is. Those links to City might have been a little bit premature, but I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up at City at some point. But we'll have to wait and see. Christie doing some good work. Comes inside, has options, keeps going, and gets maybe a little bit of pressure from Paqueta. Just was enough to just make him go down. I don't think that was a foul. He needs to be stronger. Good ball from Kufal back into... Is that Paqueta? Great tackle from Senesi. Is it Paqueta? Is that number 10? I don't know why I feel as though I'm forgetting who that is. Yes, that is Paqueta. Right. Okay, good. But again, Senesi, incredible tackle. Just absolutely cleans him out. Just steps in and cleans him out. Rothwell's looking good already in that position as well. He'll recycle the ball brilliantly, but also step up nicely. Nice ball. Good ball from Senesi, but Brooks is just not aware of the players near him. Zabani and Anthony sort of just clash legs there, and a free kick is given to West Ham in their half. Sean, so far the score predictions look a bit optimistic, but we're starting to find our feet. Yeah, I didn't think we would win, so I'm not overly concerned at this point. West Ham's 2 shots have been nothing, and it is only 11 minutes gone. But we're still getting used to Iraiola's system and formation. There's still stuff to work out, including a right back that's only had 2 training sessions with us so far. So still plenty more to work out here. Zabani with a long ball. That looks like it's got too much on it. Oh, missed poor from West Ham. Solanke's still on the ball. Sets to Brooks, who shoots wide. Solanke let the ball get caught under his feet again there, frustratingly. I thought that ball from Zabani was too strong, and I think it would have been, but Aguirre takes a poor touch. It falls to Solanke, who gets it to Brooks, but it's wide. Yeah, that just needed to curl it too much there. Kirk is now passing it back to Neto in goal. And this was the other bit, is that West Ham aren't necessarily going to press us that much. Antonio's not really putting in all that much work to close down the goalkeeper or either of the centre-backs. Aarons and Kirkez can push really high when we've got the ball at the back. Another long ball. Okay, it puts territory in their third, but keep putting it to Anthony going up against Kufal. The ball needs to be better than that. Comment from Sean. I think the right back has done very well considering the circumstances so far. Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. But as I mentioned, I don't think playing fullback is the most taxing. Physically, it's probably the most taxing position on the pitch. Tactically, far from it. Good bit of combat in midfield now. And poor touch means the ball goes out for a Bournemouth throw on around about the halfway line. Billing playing a little bit deeper, and weirdly, he's playing on the right-hand side. He's what I'm expecting is that when you have the 2 defensive midfield pivots, you'll have the one that sits playing more on the right-hand side. He'll certainly want to be central, but he'll play more on the right. And then you'll have the one that pushes forward, which is Billing in this case, play more on the left. And we've seen Billing play left side for the last 2 seasons. He plays as the left side of whatever midfield he's in. So to see him be so much on the right is an interesting one. And I do wonder whether that's specifically because he feels like Ben Rama's not going to track back and Emerson can be got at. So Iraola is probably thinking, I want just to try and overload that right-hand side of the pitch. And that's why he's putting Billing on that right-hand side. That's the only thing I can assume in that instance. West Ham on the attack. It's got Emerson on the left-hand side. Ball gets forward to Ben Rama. Ben Rama puts the ball in the box and cleared by Senesi. Brooks can't keep hold of the ball. Gets to Fornells, goes to Benrahma again. Now Souček's in at the back and off both posts and into the hands of Neto. You're clearly about a minute ahead of me, Roy. Oh, it's all. Sorry, I thought that was both posts. It's the clearly there's a slight delay in what I can hear on the pitch versus what I see. Because I thought that came off both posts, but it didn't. It actually went to Neto's left-hand side and it bounced back into Neto's hands. But that was close. Zabani with a long ball. They keep trying to get it to Anthony going against Kufal. I don't dislike the plan. The execution has been terrible. Anthony with the ball loses that to Kufal, but gets a little bit lucky that the ball bounces out for a Bournemouth throw. Like I said, look, long ball's going to happen. Great. They're clearly not going to put it up to Solanke mostly against Zuma specifically and Aged, although I think we should try and get Solanke against Aged more often. But I think they're very definitely saying our best chance at keeping the ball if it goes long is to get Anthony going against Kufal because Kufal's lacking in height. They're roughly similar height. And Anthony's got a decent chance of winning that header. But it's not working so far. Neto's about 30 yards out from goal there with the ball. No pressure at all. West Ham have no real desire to press. They're looking to win the ball back in midfield, like there, because Souček wins the ball off Anthony, who's having a really poor game at the moment. Aarons misses out to Benrahma. Benrahma pushes forward, and Bowen on the ball, cuts onto his left foot, gets past Senesi's in the box. It's blocked and whacked clear by, I think that was Anthony. And again, just about wins the battle against Solanke. And that ball is played through, but goes through Zanato. Anthony's got to freaking pick his game up a bit because the ball's going into a lot and it's not sticking whatsoever. Sean, the biggest issue so far, we're just being too lightweight. Generally, especially up front, but unlike most, to me, this shows how more should be on instead of Solanke. I don't think that is wrong, but I think that Solanke will just give you a lot more than Moore will, and Moore has his weaknesses on the ball, just like Solanke does. I don't know. It's just I don't get the whole like Solanke's awful. We need another striker. Solanke's not good enough. We need another striker. Christie, what are you doing, man? He needs Christie needs some lessons from Adam Smith. That was a terrible dive. Archie would like to see Kluivert. I would have preferred Kluivert starting on the left ahead of Anthony. I've got nothing against Anthony. I just think Kluivert's had a really good preseason. Even if he didn't score, I think he's had. I think I really like the look of Anthony on that left. Kluivert on that left-hand side. I think Dom can pin a defender on as well as Kiefer, but the balls forward have been to channels, not to Dom. Yeah, mostly the ones that have gone high for someone to win have been Anthony against Kufal, which he's losing out most of the time. But if the ball is going to go in beyond, Solanke's better at doing that than Moore. If you're going to play it to the head every time, then yeah, put Moore on. But then you need to get people around him to support him. Corner in from West Ham, ball goes in, and I mean, it's way over the top. I'm just wondering, Neto went for it, but I think that was Souček that just ended up putting that miles over the bar. Yeah, Neto kind of flapped at that. Souček looked like he was out for the count for a second. You're not at the game, Ethan. Oh, well, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, if you're watching this, then I'd expect you to not be at the game. But Sean, this looks like it's going to be an ugly win. If we do first game, it wouldn't matter. Yep, true. Brooks with a really good battle against Emerson does fantastically there, and then just ignores the easy pass, gets taken down. Billing gets taken down. I think that could have been a foul, but neither of them were given. Long ball goes straight over the top. Brooks did really well against Emerson there, and when he could have played a simple pass, he tried a pirouette, completely messed it up, ran into the opposition defender, and fell over, hoping for a foul, which wasn't going to come because it was never a foul. Then Billing gets caught up in the battle as well. That could have been a foul, but just wasn't given. It's possession at the back again. Senesi to Zabani, Zabani to Aarons, Aarons back to Neto. And then this is what West Ham want. This is what West Ham want. West Ham want us to hit it long all the time. There you go. That's to Solanke, who almost wins out in that battle with Aged, but Aged does play that quite well. Solanke was backing in. He just let him go over. Ball over the top again. Zabani and Senesi are doing pretty well against Anthony, to be fair. That's a handball. Yeah, my audio is coming through half a second before the video. Ray, I know really on, but I'm not seeing any rock and roll footage yet. Looks the same on more on balls. Well, the thing is that you'll notice more what this is when we're out of possession than when we are when we're in possession. And I mentioned at the start, West Ham don't care about our press. They're just going to hit it over us the whole time. The fact that Zabani and Senesi are completely dealing with Antonio is great. But yeah, the long balls are a little bit much at times, I think, for me. But as long as if the balls are going long, you then get people around where the ball is going to win all the second balls, you get from back to front so much quicker. The issue is that we're not really doing that at the moment. The ball keeps going wide. Oh, you are the game. Well, thank you for having me on. It's going to be a bit odd, though, because I'm probably about 2 minutes behind what's happening live. Ben, who are our best crossers these days? Seems like a long time since Frano and Daniels being able to deliver gold. If we want more up top, then who's giving him the ammo? I would have said Stanislas, but obviously he's not there anymore, and he didn't play for us anyway either. Maybe Christie? Maybe? I have to wait and see what Aarons and Kirkes can do with crosses, to be honest. Anthony should be the best crosser. I think Anthony on the ball is one of the best deliverers we've got generally, but then he'll often put in an absolute stinker. Senesi tries a ball forward, it doesn't go anywhere, and now West Ham are on the counter. Antonio on the right-hand side against Senesi. Antonio's got the pace to get past him, and he almost takes him out, and Antonio manages to somehow get a corner out of that. Fair play to Antonio. He could have gone down at any moment there and won a free kick, because I do think Senesi fouled him eventually. But Antonio pushes forward. He has the pace to get past Senesi. There's definite contact through, or enough to put him down. But no, fair enough. It's another West Ham corner. Everyone bite your nails. Point to points. Yeah, absolutely. Corner comes in, and again, Souček meets it, but he heads it straight over the bar. I am 23 minutes and 34 seconds in. We are basically halfway through the first half. The best chance of the match has definitely come for West Ham. Bournemouth have so far produced one shot from David Brooks, which was off target. West Ham have not produced a shot on target. They've got 5 shots. Actually, let me just look up the stats rather than trying to remember. I'm fairly certain West Ham are on 5 shots, but I don't remember a single one of them requiring a save. Darn it. I just looked at the Arsenal Forest game and Forest got a goal. That's annoying. That wrecks my Saliba bonuses. Not one goal, or not one game that's going on at the moment has goals in it, which is interesting to hear. Brighton, Luton is 0-0. Everton, Fulham is 0-0. And Sheffield United, Crystal Palace is 0-0. The statistics we've got for our game. Oh, 6 shots. Wait a minute. When did we produce a shot on target? We have won a corner. You're looking up stats, games going on, things are happening. You'll miss things now and again. You're 1 minute ahead of me in New Zealand. Yeah, that's just the way that we receive it. The information, if it's coming through, corner comes in from Brooks, gets headed back. Rothwell gives it back to Brooks on the right-hand side. Brooks gives it to Christie. Christie coming in field, and there's that shot on target. So obviously, stats are a bit in front of me. That's the first shot on target of the game that required basically no effort from Areola, but there you go. Yeah, that in the 11 hours. Yeah, you should already know the result, shouldn't you? Yeah, just kidding. Right, a little bit more build up through the thirds now. Billing through to Brooks, goes back to Aarons, and then we're back in. Okay, we're back in defense again. I would like to see a little bit more actually building up along the ground, though, rather than all these long balls. They're good in certain situations, but not all the time. Aarons pushing inside, doing your Adam Smith run from out to in. He's reached halfway across the pitch and passed it to Kirkes. Goes up to Anthony. Anthony on the left-hand side tries to come back and gives it to Christie, who passes it back to Senesi, still inside the West Ham half. Rothwell to Brooks. Some light pressure from Emerson. Receives a ball back from Aarons. Come on, Brooks, get back up the pitch a bit. Receives it. Passes it back to Aarons. Inside to Christie, who gets a 1-2 off a West Ham player, and that's a definite foul. Yes, please do let us know what the score will be, and then I can put a bet on it. Do we have an Eddie relative? No, I'm just kidding. Housley, not an uncommon surname, but nice for a fellow John to join us on the stream. 27.5 minutes gone. Free kick on the right-hand side. Rothwell and Brooks over the ball. Referee blows his whistle. Rothwell puts it in to the middle, almost to Zavani, but headed back. Billing wins it, pinballs around a little bit, and then gets whacked clear by Zuma. Picked up by Aarons, who gives it to Rothwell. And it's out to Brooksy. Brooksy plays a 1-2 with Billing. Very nice little bit of work. Brooks tries inside, doesn't work. And West Ham we've kind of halted that counter. Antonio's kept hold of the ball well, but the counter-attack was there, but then a combination of Kirkes and Anthony prevented that from getting forward as quickly as they would have liked. Long ball, though, to Benrahma. Wonderful first touch. Benrahma against Aarons. Got to keep him out wide. Don't let him come inside. Looking for an option. Gives it to Fornals. Terrible shot. Cleared by Kirkes. And now Bournemouth are on the counter. With Christie to Brooks. Brooks just hit the halfway line. Pushing up the field. Looking for the right option. Gives it to Christie on the right. Christie still with the ball. Puts it inside, tries to find a through ball to Solanke, but there's just nowhere near enough room to play that in behind, and Areola takes that easily. From Atlanta, we have an American joining us, lads. I'm not saying soccer. That's more of the rock and roll we're expecting, yes. And this is why 2-2 was a score that I was thinking, is because I expect Bournemouth to be back in the early days of Eddie in the Prem to probably have the biggest goals for and against columns combined in the league. I think I wouldn't be surprised. Although actually, I think Liverpool might have that title this year. But I remember like first or second season under Eddie Howe, I think we had 40 odd goals in the for and against column with about 2/3 of the season through, or something ridiculous. It looked ridiculous. There was a time where where if you were going to watch a game, it would be a Bournemouth game because there were more goals involving Bournemouth than any other team. And I expect us to kind of come back to that. I think we'll concede a lot, but we'll score a lot. Long ball up again into Solanke, who's battling with Zuma. Zuma wanted Areola to come and get that, but he wasn't prepared to. And on 30 minutes, Bournemouth have their second corner? Second or third? Second, yep. So it's 2 corners each now. Ball in. Headed clear. No Bournemouth player anywhere near that. Rothwell has it just inside the West Ham half. Yeah, I know. We invented the word, but us Brits just don't seem to want to embrace our own heritage. We're much more concerned with you changing American football to hand egg. That's what we're more concerned with, for whatever reason. Even back in the 4th and 3rd tiers, my mates always put us first on both teams. Yeah. Roy, as always, Solanke working hard but isolated. Yep. Kirkers and Anthony, good work there. Winning the ball back, goes out for a throw-in. Some nice attempt at a play there, but not good enough from Billing combining with Brooks, and we lose it again. Yeah, not as entertaining a game as I think a lot of us hoped it would be. But it didn't really set itself up to be one. Because, for a really exciting game, you need both teams to really go at it, and West Ham just generally aren't all that worried about that. And obviously they're missing Rice, and the team itself is a bit, and the fans are a little bit on a low, whereas we're on a high. We should be really pressing the issue here, and we're just not, or at least as much as I think many fans probably would have hoped. A win is realistic, but so is a draw. 0-0 is not what I had on the cards here. Definitely didn't have 0-0 on the cards. Solanke drops deep this time, receives the ball on the halfway line and shifts it out to Brooks, who's waiting for the overlap from Aarons. No, he tries to get it in field. Oh, it flicks off 2 West Ham players and into Areola's arms. Both sets of players were calling for a handball there, which is interesting. No, okay, no, it came off Solanke. If it was handball, it was off Solanke, so we don't need to worry too much about that. Shame. Tried to keep that ball in, but it went out. Please make Russell Brand cry. Oh yeah, he's a West Ham fan, isn't he? I think he is. Yeah, couldn't care too much about him to be honest, but hey, back pass, you'll claim anything. Oh, that's close. Bowen there was taking on Kirkes, got around the outside of him, put the cross in, but Senesi heads it, chests it out for a corner. Heads it out for a corner, yeah. Launches himself to prevent any issues there. Sean, we blooming better get a penalty this season. The fact that we didn't get a single one during the entirety of last season was ridiculous. Corner into the box, and it's headed, and it's pushed around, and it's cleared off the line by Billing. I don't know what he's claiming for here. A handball? Ball into the box, flicked on. Antonio almost. I don't know what he's claiming for there. Christie being a bit rash there. Lucky he didn't give away a foul. Aaron's losing out to Ben Rama, who shoots over the bar. I don't think West Ham have had a shot on target yet. No, they haven't. I think that was their 8th shot. They've obviously hit the post once, but that's not on target. 3 blocked, 5 off target. Yeah, still not looking brilliant for us at the moment. Oh, what? Don't know what the hell that foul's for. Yeah, so we've got things at the moment. We've got Rothwell doing okay at the base, but not really receiving the ball from his defenders all that much. We're not really bombing up and down up the wings as much as I would have liked. There's a hell of a lot of long balls that aren't really finding anyone. Anthony's not exactly having a very good game at the moment. He's getting a little bit bullied by a lot of the West Ham players and not keeping hold of the ball well enough, as much as he's working very hard. So Lanky's struggling because he doesn't have enough people around him. Brooks is getting inside and occasionally doing some nice things, but the combinations aren't really working as much as we'd like between him, Billing, and Christie. There's not really much of an intent to press, which is fine because, like I said, I don't think the press is really going to work because West Ham will just go over it. But overall, it's been disappointing. West Ham back on the attack. Kufal on the right-hand side, swinging the ball in, almost met by Bowen, but it falls to another player who goes down in the box. Christie may have got away. Was it Christie or Brooks? May have got away with that one against Ben Rama. Long ball from Neto. Again, heads that out for a throw. See, those long balls are fine because they're always going to be awkward. But we'll see who is that Brooks. Maybe a little bit lucky that Ben Rama went down a bit easily there. Need to see a little bit more of Kirkes going forward without doubt. You see there, Anthony receiving it. He has opportunity to turn, but he doesn't. He plays it backwards to Senesi. He plays it long to Solanke, who doesn't keep hold of the ball. Billing going up against Fornals. Wins it? No. Goes to Souček, who does 2 players, but then we win the ball back again. With Aarons finding himself quite central. Same with Kirkes. Oh, Anthony again. My man is having a shocker. Oh dear. I said Clivert. I got nothing against Anthony, but I said Clivert. I really wish it had been now. To me, Anthony Solanke dropped for more and OB. OB. Was that meant to be Dango? I don't know who OB is, unless my brain's just not clicking into gear on who our options are out wide. I'm assuming I'm sure he's talking about Ouattara, but Ouattara for me just doesn't have enough about him to start games most of the time right now. I think just the amount of times I see things go wrong with him is just infuriating. Not that I haven't seen exactly the same thing from Anthony, but the thing is Anthony will make his mistakes at the top of the pitch. Ouattara makes his mistakes by passing it backwards to the wrong player, and suddenly we're in real danger. Okay. Update. Dango isn't even on the bench. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen, Sean. But we do have a corner from that free kick, from the free kick that I haven't mentioned, but we did have. More up top compared to Solanke, I don't really think changes all that much about how we're doing at the moment. We're not really getting it to him enough, let alone in situations where we get him enough support. It's all well and good changing the man up top, but if no one's getting around him, what's the point in really making the change of the front man? You've got to actually get people near him. Corner, 39 minutes and 27 seconds. We have another corner. David Brooks with the in-swinger, and keeper punches away. Far too close to the keeper again. Lovely touch from Rothwell. Plays it back to Aarons, who pushes back up the pitch. And we have Christie and Rothwell with it deep. Goes to Kirkes, who's up against Bowen. Jinx a couple times, doesn't do all that much with it. And we've got Christie with it on the right-hand side, who tries to pass it long wide to Anthony, who does control it and pushes inside. Looking for the right pass, doesn't find it, so puts it back to Rothwell, central, who does try a cutting pass there to Solanke. Christie tries to get it back to Solanke. Now Brooks on the ball, tries it long, good save from Areola. Oh, that's got to be a handball, ref. Come on. Couldn't be more obvious that that was a handball. And then he's given that foul away. I mean, come on, ref. That couldn't have been a more obvious handball. As accidental as it would have been, his arm was outstretched. Brighton have scored against Luton. Cool. Fairly certain I have them in my ACCA today. Yeah, Brooks with a shot. Okay, it's straight down. It's straight down Areola's throat. It should have made that look a lot more difficult than it actually was. I like the more Brooks connection. That's why I think it works better than Solanke. But I'm not entirely sure what connection they've got. Just in terms of like, okay, they played a bit together for Wales, but they barely featured together. When Moore signed, Brooks didn't play. He's been not able to play. There is no proven connection between Brooks and Moore other than they have been in the same Wales camps several times. Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that really automatically says they can play together just because they're from the same. Well, they're not actually. Well, they're both from England, I think. Oh, that's much better from Anthony. Plays it through to Christie, who puts it long. Kirker's in behind. He's looking to put the cross in. Plays it. It deflects. Ball almost lands to Christie, or Brooks rather, but doesn't. Ends up back with Rothwell, who puts it over to Christie on the right-hand side. Or Brooks. God, I get Brooks and Christie messed up all the time. Christie in the box. Tries to cut it back through, but is intercepted. I'm amazed no foul's been given. Paquetá does really well there. Christie, don't foul him. Don't foul him. Oh, ref! I cannot understand how assistant ref keeps falling for this. There is almost no contact, and Paquetá just flops to the floor, and the assistant ref gives a foul. Nothing happened there. And somehow a foul has been given. Although I say the assistant ref has flagged, he's flagged after the ref has blown the whistle and given it, even though he's got no clue. Dear. Fair enough, Sean. I didn't see the Lorient game. I couldn't get to watch it. Maybe there was something that happened there, but I just think that generally there's not much evidence. It's just so little in that. Exactly. Yeah, Rothwell. Yeah, I think it was at least a couple went to the liner on that one. Right. We are, well, depending on added time, we're not far away from half time. Almost looked like a nice bit of play happening there, but in the end, Billings come over to the left-hand side in that one, and was combined with Anthony to force a corner off Zuma. And now we have, I think, our first corner from the left-hand side. It is Anthony with another in-swinger. Just 43 minutes, 45 seconds on the clock. Plays it short to Rothwell, who plays it back to Christie with a first-time set of contacts and Solanke. Now, I don't have any issue with set pieces that involve a little bit of movement and play like that, what just happened. But the pass that Solanke has to make to get Anthony in there is way too delicate. You don't need to make things that delicate to make a set piece work. You just don't. And I just feel as though that was a bit of a waste. But, all the balls into the box from corners before that were somewhat useless. Now here's the press. Here's the press that I expected that you'll see more often. Christie doing really well to make sure that Zuma's got no option but to try and go for it long. In the end, it goes out for a throw. Keep that press on. Christie going up against Paquetá, who does well. Anthony gets it to Solanke. Solanke on the ball, surrounded by three players. He just about keeps the ball, gives it back to Anthony. Anthony tries to get it to Billing. Easy pass. Easy pass to Christie was on, and he loses it. But good pressure. Paquetá's in trouble, and he does foul him in the end. Tryman Kluivert would be, yep, I wouldn't be against that at all. Certainly could see Kluivert coming on for Anthony at halftime. I don't think there'll be any other changes. Personally, I think I could see Traore coming on the hour mark. Only 1 minute of added time. There really has been very little going on in this game. 1 single minute of added time. And I need to get some water because I'm already starting to feel my throat go. Might lay off on the commentary a little bit more in the second half. But Kirkers does really well there. Gets a foul off Bowen. Oh, former ref Ben. If my knees hadn't gone, I think I probably would have been interested in trying to get qualifications to be a ref. Not that I'm good at looking after children. I was a teacher for a while, so I would maybe have struggled with them actually behaving themselves. As a former teacher, I think approaching the ref could have been fixed several years ago when they gave us that vanishing spray. Just lay a line down and book anyone who crosses. Anytime ref blows the whistle and then immediately gets the spray out and just circles himself. Just like anyone crosses that line, instant yellow card. Oh, I like the vision of that. I just really like the vision of that. That's brilliant. There's first half gone. Yeah. I think that whatever hype there was before the game has maybe not vanished, but we certainly haven't been building on it. I have been mentioning to people that it will take time for Iraola's system to come across. And in that game, you can certainly tell. Let us bring together... Spray the offender instead. Oh, dear. Hello, AFC BOURNEMOUTH Germany. You got here in the end. Sean, hello from the Bournemouth lad in Mexico. Hopefully come out firing in the second half. You and me both. Just joined over Sunday taking 0-0. West Ham are a great team. They are a good team. I think you'd be pushing it for great, but they are a good team. And at the moment, that's about what we are as well. So I would certainly take... I would not have expected a 0-0. I wouldn't have expected a 0-0 whatsoever. And certainly based on our current history of 21 games, pre-season or not, including pre-season, I think, 21 games without a draw. No. They'll try and say champions of Europe, but the third tier of European competition does not make you champions of Europe. That makes you Conference League champions, which is a great trophy, but it doesn't make you a great team. Makes you a decent team, particularly when the budget of West Ham is about twice of the next biggest of all the teams that entered that competition. As mentioned by Roy, I was just going to bring up the half times. And yes, thank you, who scored. I'm not worried about the new sports. I clicked something by accident. This is the joy of live broadcast. There are our 4 halftime games. Obviously, we had a final score of... let me just take the banner down for a second. We had a halftime score already of... full-time, rather, of Arsenal beating Forest 2-1. And in the half-times today so far, obviously 0-0 in our game. Brighton are beating Luton 1-0, and then we've got goalless in the other two as well. Thrilling Premier League football, the best show on earth. 45 minutes of 4 games, and there's been one goal. It's days like this when Sky Sports are just like, oh, for Christ's sake. Oh boy. If you want to show me, love the Conference League. We'll see teams from Luxembourg. Yeah, what I do love about it is that you see teams from all those lesser known leagues appearing. It's just the problem is they do have a Premier League side in it, and no matter which side it is, they will always be the favourite to win because the budget is so much higher than everyone else. Hello, Phoenix. Welcome back. Did you? I hope you didn't fall asleep during that one. If you want to, and the team for the Faroe Islands, chance of that's true. I remember hearing about that. That's ridiculous. Have they still got the goalie with the beanie hat? I don't know who that's referencing. Sorry. Oh, was that a Faroe Islands keeper reference? Actually, speaking of Faroe Islands, I did actually. I actually, when I was at uni in Exeter, I played in a 5-a-side tournament with an ex-professional footballer that played for their country. And unfortunately, it's like a lot of things. It's the biggest drop off in history when someone says, "Oh, that guy, he was a professional footballer, played for his country," and you go, "Really? Who for?" Faroe Islands. He was still the best player on the pitch, but it is sort of like. But yeah, I just thought that was really funny. As you said, Phoenix, not the best in the first half. We just look disjointed. You can tell when you manage new players. I do think that the fact that Rothwell is playing in that position that he hasn't been playing as much, that he hasn't played at all in preseason, isn't helping. And Billing doesn't look like he's playing in the position that he's as used to because he's on the right hand side. We know he's played most of his time with us more on the left hand side. Anthony, I don't think has been all that great so far, apart from one or two moments. Would like to see Kirkes and Aarons get more involved, more at the pitch. Kirkes just hasn't been able to hasn't got forward as much as I would like. So here's our momentum bar today, and that's looking way more even than normal for Bournemouth. Considering we've actually had some shots, one of which has been on target. Where's the? Oh, there's statistics. Thank you. Although you can tell the XG. West Ham have managed to pick up 1 XG already, and we're at 0.07. Wonderful. So much more of the ball, but far fewer shots. And that is just so Bournemouth in the last couple of years. All the possession, not enough territory, not enough shots. Same amount on target, 2 each. But, expected assists of 0.7, 0.07. They haven't exactly been impressive shots. Corners relatively equal, fouls dead even. West Ham got a yellow card. I completely missed that. Who got the yellow card? Jared Bowen. I completely missed that. Someone's going to have to remind me what that was for, or someone's going to have to tell me what that was for, because I got to be honest, I completely missed that there was a yellow card in that first half of Jared Bowen. It wasn't dirty enough for a yellow card. I'm guessing he got one for kicking the ball away. But yeah, look at that. All our shots have come from outside the box. They've had 7 from inside the box. A chunk of those from set pieces. With the one big chance that was missed, I'm assuming, was Souček's toe poke that hit the post and bounced back to Neto. Over double the passes, far more accurate, but way more long balls. 31 compared to 23. Crosses, not a single successful cross, which I know Kirk is going to be absolutely delighted that stat isn't changing at the moment. That's an eyes up at Bournemouth's play, not a Kirk. Considering the dribbly boys that we've got in our team, West Ham have been far more successful in their dribbles. They've been more aggressive and won far more duels. More successful in their tackle. it's just everything points to a West Ham victory at the moment. It really has been really quite frustrating. Things I mentioned it. Things still need to click. We've still got a lot more to sort out, including getting a ball winner. But I think actually Rothwell has done pretty well. I'm throwing shade, obviously. To be fair, Faroe Islands, in terms of Faroe Islands, when I was talking before, are a decent team now, improved immensely in the past 10 years, have won against teams like Greece, Turkey, and Greece. Very true. Although I'm not sure how much of an achievement beating Greece is anymore at the moment, considering their kind of record they've been recently. But Turkey, were dark horses in the World Cup 5 years ago. Things. What happened to Lewis Cook? I don't know. He's just not in the lineup. I will see if anything's been posted by Tanner on Twitter. No, just an injury. Just an injury. That's it. I don't think we have any categorical updates on exactly what that is. That their biggest momentum spikes are immediately after our periods of possession makes me think they're going back to front fast enough, which is supposed to be our new AFCB. Yeah, I totally agree with you. But to be fair, West Ham have played counter-attacking football the entire time they've been under David Moyes. They played loads of long ball, yes, but they are also a very effective counter-attacking side. You've only got to look at the Conference League final for an example of that. Hopefully, we'll do the typical Bournemouth play better in the second half. Yeah, that was certainly the case for long periods. Has been the case for long periods. Lewis and Dango seem to have knocks of some kind, which have left them out. Not seeing any proper news. Yep, there you go. Bowen was wrestling Senesi for the ball and kicked it off the pitch out of frustration. There you go. I just didn't notice that. I have a feeling I was probably either looking up stats or looking at the chat. Yes, we were bloody lucky at times. That's a name that goes over my head. Kicking the ball away. Right, okay. There's that. Like I mentioned, I kind of expected a lot of yellow cards in the first few games for players kicking the ball away and stupidly getting cards for no reason when they don't need to do it. Right. Just going to take a very quick sort of minute break before the game starts up again, which it will do very shortly, but I'm just going to need to get myself a drink, take a very quick break, and be back in a moment. Where is that thing? There it is. Right. Hello, welcome back from the break. Just about got back in time to see the start of the second half. The players are out. Let's have a look at if I missed any comments. Yep, that was a good few years ago now, but unfortunately, Greece just aren't the team they used to be. But they did have that really good period. Yeah, that was a bit before that. Yo, hello. The backwards and sideways passing is driving me insane and so slow. Yeah, it's not engaging when they do that, but I think that is pretty indicative of modern football as well. Well, certainly the team in possession. I mean, West Ham don't really worry too much about that. They just pump it long. They've got the players to do that. Yeah, I think Drury's no longer. Does he still work in America now? He's obviously Sky. He's obviously works for Sky now. But yeah, we are back in the second half. Thanks everyone for joining. 24 viewers at the moment. Please do hit the like button. Just do us a favor. Just hit the like button. If you're still here, you're enjoying it to some extent. West Ham do have a brief attack there that ends up at the keeper. JJ the Dude Gaming, welcome to the West Ham fans. To be honest, I'm terrible at actually paying attention to anything the opposition team does when when I'm trying to focus so much on my team. So you'll get some interesting opinions on Bournemouth, but I don't think you'll get much on West Ham. For the away kit, clean. It's full white. I don't think really you can often go very wrong with a full white kit. But yeah, it looks pretty clean. Oh, Aaron's with a lovely bomb down the right-hand side. And Paquetá is maybe a little lucky to get away with a card. It wasn't a bad tackle, but it was just a bit cynical. But Aarons gets past Emerson and Paquetá. I think he's very lucky to get away without a card on that one. Quick ball attempted, not worked. And West Ham clear it long. Ooh, we almost messed that up, but end up doing fine with it. And Souček's bombing up through the middle of the pitch. Don't know where Billing's gone. Anthony doing a lot of tracking back. Good work there, dealing with Kufal. And in the end, we do win the ball back, and Kirkes is bombing up the pitch, but just holds on and now has two players around him and loses the ball. Where the hell has the midfield disappeared to? There's Billing. Don't know where he disappeared. Don't know where he went. Kirkes ran up the pitch, and there was no one near him. Yeah, that's pretty guaranteed at this point. It's just a matter of terms with Maguire and a medical for Ward-Prowse. Maguire's bad for Man United because they try and play a high line. As soon as you just tell him to initiate in a low block, Maguire's a really good defender. Oh, good. A quick free kick from West Ham. Goes inside to Bowen, who tries to force it to a West Ham player, but fails. And Antonio catches Kirkes and gets a yellow card. Interesting. Maguire will be perfectly good for West Ham. I don't know how much of an upgrade he is on Agard, but he's good on the ball. Bance. Yeah, he'll be fine. got a much better chance of playing for England again if he actually gets to a team that will play for frequently. Right, long ball up to Solanke on the right-hand side. Does well to keep hold of it, going up against the Gerd. Plays it through to Aarons, who plays it back to Solanke, who's just about got it back to Aarons again. Ball into the box. Anthony fighting for it. Balls to Brooks, who first time shot. Oh, catches that really well. Well, that's Bournemouth's probably best chance of the game. And it's tipped over by Areola. Yeah, right on the edge of the box. Catches it really sweetly. Brooks again on the corner. Ball into the box. Kind of missed and then cleared. I think Brooks's deliveries have been okay. It's just they've just not got to anyone. Oh, that's poor from Kirkes. Intercepted by Kufal. Goes up the pitch quickly, and Aarons intercepts well. Ball still ends up with Kufal. Senesi does well to win that, and it's a Bournemouth throw. Looked dangerous there for a second. Little bit of a mistake from Kirkes, and we were almost in some deep doo-doo. But thankfully, it all worked out. Hey, like I said, Ben, like I mentioned before, I've got him in my fantasy team. He's if I'm gonna put one Bournemouth player in, it's gonna be Brooksy at the moment. After his pre-season, yeah, let's not talk about that. AFC Bournemouth Germany. But for those of you, but for those that are interested, it's 50 minutes and 40 seconds in. And they're pushing up. Ben Rama pushes up the pitch and tries to force it inside. Rothwell loses the ball stupidly, goes to Bowen, who shoots from range, and it's right in the corner. Oh dear. Me talking about Rothwell and the fact that he should be good in that position because he doesn't give the ball away because he's very press resistant, and he goes and just is rather stupid there. Gives the ball away in a really good position, and that means we're one less midfielder available, and Jared Bowen cuts inside and hammers it into the far corner. Zabani's a bit out of position. No, Senesi's out of position there, actually. And Billing ends up at centre back, doesn't stop the shot, and it is a beauty from Jared Bowen. I think a defender gets closer to Bowen. But yeah, a really good goal, but it's so avoidable. It's so avoidable. Because we have the ball in our own third and Rothwell gives it away unnecessarily. West Ham fans are finally found their voice again. Again, saying champions of Europe, which is, not strictly true, but, you can... the chart works. The chart works. And you won a European Cup. Iraola chatting away, trying to figure out what to do. But I do think a change is needed of some description because it's basically, if it doesn't get to Brooks, we're not making much happen in terms of actual genuine goal-scoring opportunities. We do have a corner, though. 53 minutes on the clock. Yeah, they love to say that, don't they? I mean, I think half the people that shout that now weren't alive during that, but I clearly don't I don't fit with the romanticism of the West Ham chants. Anthony with an in-swinger. Immediately cleared. The corners have been so bad. Anthony again. That's Christie on the left-hand side. Tries to dink it in way over the top and goes straight to the keeper. God, I wish we had someone that could take corners. I don't think they've been too bad. They're not hitting the first man every time, which is great, but they're not reaching a Bournemouth player. I don't think a single Bournemouth player has actually got on the end of any of our corners so far. Yeah, and I agree with you, Sean. And it was a cracking goal, but just how avoidable it was is incredibly frustrating because we had the ball on our own third. We'd stopped their attack. We were in possession, and Rothwell takes a heavy touch and gives it straight to a West Ham player. And within 2 touches, it's a goal. Oh, Solanke's in behind now. Has he got the ball? Will he shoots? And it's saved by Areola. That's a really good ball into the channel by Aarons there. That's much more of what I want to be seeing as supply for Solanke as well. Receives the ball in the box, doesn't even take a touch, just hammers it a goal. And it's well saved by Areola. Short corner again. Goes to Rothwell, whose crossing is blocked. Brooks crosses way over everyone. Oh, considering how many corners we've had, and all of them have been terrible, pardon me. Every strategy, every plan, not one of them has worked out. Little bit of play in the middle there, and I don't know what Senesi is doing there. I have no clue why Senesi keeps playing that and making it awkward for himself. Benrahma overlaps to Emerson. Emerson crosses the ball into the box. It's a shot cleared by Kirkes. Headed back into the box. A little bit of a push there, maybe ref. Benrahma sets. Oh no, sorry. Paqueta sets it back to Benrahma. Benrahma plays it to Paqueta to Emerson. Emerson crosses it in. And there is a clash of heads as the ball falls to Neto. Yes, JJ. When I remove your comment, and you will see how it's set up under here, where it says Bournemouth, then West Ham. This is always the home team. This is always the away team. That is how we set it up for football. In American football, they do it the other way around, and I don't know why. But well, I know how they talk about it. They say it would say Bournemouth at West Ham or whatever. But yes, player down. Senesi. Considering Kelly's injured as well, that is not good. I mean, Zabani will be pushed over to the left-hand side and Mepham will come on, but we don't want Senesi down. I do think he was messing around with the ball a little bit too much earlier there, making some poor decisions. But yeah, he's such an important player for us. For him to really hope he carries. No, he's shaking his head. I think that's it. Yeah. No, he knows it's gone. And if that's hamstring, and if it's a pretty decently, and if it's a sizable tear of the hamstring, well, actually, I don't know. Is it hamstring? He's really sort of focused on his thigh. We'll have to wait and see. Stats showing the Bournemouth have had more shots on target than West Ham, but West Ham do have the goal, and Bournemouth shots on target have only required one anywhere near decent save from Areola. We need to get back into this game. We can't with our Billing in the box tries to do something, doesn't work. Aarons is taken out by Paquetá right on the edge of the box. Good opportunity. Yeah, quad. There we go. Yeah, didn't look good. Considering the difficulty of some of our games in the next few weeks, we can't be losing this. We need to at least be getting a draw. Yeah, it's been very, very frustrating at times in this game. Um, it's been yeah, it's a weird one again. You mentioned this earlier, Ben. West Ham's chances seemingly come after our possession. Well, and look at this chunky bit of the momentum bar, which is ours, which is some of the best momentum we've had in the game, is the moment the West Ham score. That's just that's just infuriating. Um, Anthony off for Clive, right. Now I'm hoping Clive is able to combine a little bit better with Kirkes. So the one game that I have been to so far this season is seeing um the Atalanta game, and I was really impressed with Clive. Free kick coming in, Billing shoots, and it goes off a West Ham player out for a corner. So Mepham on for Senesi, obviously. JJ, we're not going to talk about any other teams in this game for now. We're just, if it's not about Bournemouth, and particularly if it's not about West Ham either, we're not going to, don't worry too much about it. I also don't think a kit, just because of its colours, can really be considered all that controversial. Corner coming in from, I think, Clive. Oh, almost found a Bournemouth head, but again, West Ham player heading it away. Is Mepham on the right-hand side of the pitch trying to keep hold of the ball? Oh, lovely flick. All to Billing, but doesn't. And that's out for a goal kick. Mepham being squared up to by some of the West Ham players for just an incidental clash with Emerson, but all right. West Ham players are angry about it, but personally, I don't see really what the problem was. If you're going to dummy the ball on the line, then just expect to get some kind of contact. Mepham's pushing in, looking to go for the ball, and okay, Mepham is cheeky there. I will give him that. That was very close to studs down the back of the ankle. Mepham being very cheeky there. I don't understand why he needs to do that. Anyway, ball with West Ham. We're just about to hit 62 minutes on the clock for me. And Bournemouth are battling away in our own third, trying to keep the ball, failing to do so, but then winning it back. Brooksy's on the right-hand side, looking for a ball forward. Dinks it to Solanke, who tries something, but it doesn't come off. And West Ham are pushing forward again on the down their left-hand side. The West Ham fans are olaying. Fair enough. Fresh on the field, letting the opposition know he's there. Yeah, I mean, there is that. I don't think you can get away with that quite to the same extent that you could in the 90s, but referee didn't see anything untoward, so thankfully it was just a goal kick in the end. And yes, as I mentioned, with Mepham coming on, Zabani has been pushed to the left centre-back position, with Mepham going to his preferred right centre-back slot. I do think when Neto gets the ball, it's basically always going long. And I do think that that's just too easy to telegraph. Like, if the opposition knows that as soon as the goalkeeper's going to get the ball, he'll play it long, why do they, they don't need to think. They don't need to worry about anything. They just know to stand on their man, and then they'll deal with the long ball. Very nice from Kirkes pushing up the field, combining with Cliver. Kirkes getting the ball back. Solanke coming in, and good tackle, but it goes out for a corner. Almost much better. So actual combination there between Kirkes and Cliver, and also some one-touch football that really got it going, which we didn't see enough of, particularly with Anthony. Kirker's getting up the pitch, which I mentioned at half time. I wanted to see more of. Dom didn't really get the opportunity to get that under control. A long ball, had no corners taken short again. Ends up with Rothwell, comes inside, looks, shapes to shoot, goes for the shot. Oh, it's off the bar. Oh. Unfortunately, Rothwell's no Jared Bowen, but that was better from a corner at least. I mean, you said that, Sean, he didn't score. That's the only thing about that. I get what you're saying, but when people always talk about going close and hitting the crossbar or making, or it's like it's a good, he couldn't have hit it any better. It's like, well, it wasn't on target, so clearly he could have done better with it. Christie just about keeping the ball there. Kirker's working nicely. Oh, and we get the throw in. Yeah. Not far off, but yeah, certainly not bad. Rothwell's yet to score for us at all, isn't he? I think he might have got one in pre-season last year, but I'm fairly certain that just come on, Billing, you can do better than that. But yeah, I'm fairly certain Rothwell hasn't scored a goal for us in a real game yet. Oh, Rothwell doing his job, going up against Bowen. Don't foul him. Good, pushing him back. Well done. Aaron's just about keeping the ball in play there. Yep. Just want to see that tempo come up again. Just pick up again. Well, at least we got a free kick there in the middle of the pitch. Fiver overlapping from Kirkers, takes one touch, gets the ball in the box, headed clear. And a lovely tackle from Christie, who gets the crowd going. He did get injured in that preseason, but he did start games during that preseason. I know he did in Spain or Portugal, wherever we went to for our preseason tour. I just have a feeling the Rothwell might have scored for us in that preseason, but I'm just thinking, like, I know he hasn't scored for us yet in a league or cup game, or at least I am 99% certain he hasn't. I mean, there's an element of that, but it's also the fact that West Ham have really dominant players in the air, and if generally when they make contact with it, it goes away, it flies away. Admittedly, there have been a few that almost dropped to one of our players, and I do grant you that. But yeah, I do think that there's an element of that, certainly a little bit of bad luck, but also our balls into the box just haven't been good enough. Kiefer Moore now on the pitch. That came on for Christie. Which just sends us to a straight 4-4-2. Really? Oh, Billing trying to be too fancy. Didn't need to do that. Literally just now, like a minute ago. Yeah, not like for like at all. Changes it to basically a 4-4-2. Solanke maybe you're playing a little bit deeper. This allows for at least Solanke and Moore should play quite close together. If the ball goes up to Moore or to Solanke, one of them should be next to the other guy, and we win the knockdown. It's so simple. Like English football was built on little and large strike partnerships up front for like a decade or 5. I would like to at least see Solanke get close to Moore and be able to pick up the scraps of some of those knockdowns. Nilo, a draw is not enough. We need. I mean, it's the first game of the season. I don't think I'd say that a draw is not enough. We are playing against a decent side in West Ham, who we lost 6-0 on aggregate to last season. A loss isn't the end of the world, and a draw is certainly good enough for me. But I would love to win, but a draw would be fine. We just need to Blimmin' score a goal. Um, Outside rather than inside. I would say yes, if not for the fact that you should just have your fullbacks do that job. Particularly if we need a goal, Kirkes and Aaron should be bombing down the wing now to get forward. Long throw into the box, lands to Bowen, and we eventually deal with it, but then lose the ball again. Clivert trying to challenge, cross into the box is picked up. This was the issue that I had against Atalanta when Anthony played on the right hand side and Smith was getting forward. They just kept getting in each other's way. We weren't able to do enough. Lot of long ball from both teams now. The midfield is disappearing. Don't know why Aaron's played that to Brooks a foot away from him when he had two men around him, but we did keep the ball. 70-minute mark. We have just hit the 70-minute mark. We have 20 minutes left to go, not including added time. Zabani just got very lucky there. A horrible touch from Bowen let him get the ball back there. But Brooks is on the ball on the right-hand side. I expect Aaron to be bombing down the right-hand side to get into a ball into the box from Brooks with his weaker foot, cleared easily by Zuma. I think that was Zuma. Right. Brooks needs to work quickly there to get the ball to Billing, which he does. He gives it back to Brooks on the edge of the box and shooting from edge of the box, and it's miles wide and miles high. I think that's Brooks's fourth shot, and all of them have come from outside the box. I love the confidence, but we need a little bit better than that in terms of opportunities created. That is the Iraola way, though. He wants players to shoot. He wants a lot of shots. He doesn't care too much about the quality of opportunity. He just wants a lot of shots. But yeah, the XG still looks really bad for us. 0.23 to 1.15. It's not even close. Bournemouth's chances. There've been. That's a weird time to refresh. There have been some chances for Bournemouth, but I mean, 8 shots, 4 on target, 14 shots, only 3 on target for West Ham. One of which was a cracker that was a goal, but it's just been fine from Bournemouth. It's not looked all that different from O'Neill in a number of ways. There have been some differences, but it's not looked massively different. This wasn't the game that was going to show up as being different because I talked about it before in pre-match. For those of you that missed it, West Ham don't really care about our press, so we're not going to worry about pressing. So the big difference that Iraola really enforces in that high press doesn't have really much of an impact in this game. So the rock and roll aspect of it, we're not seeing in this match. We'll see it a lot more versus Liverpool. We'll see it a lot more versus Spurs. In the next 6 games after this one, we'll see that high pressing style kick in a lot more. But in this game, this is very much just which team has more quality to produce that goal scoring moment, that match winning moment. And in a player like Jarrod Bowen, they have proven match winning quality with a goal in the caliber that he scored. Whereas for Bournemouth, Solanke hasn't really done that for us in the Prem. Neither has Moore, at least not that much. Brooks is still coming back. I want to see more of Clivert. Billing hasn't really got into the right areas yet. As much as you can talk about tactics, that one moment that you need for someone to just stick the ball in the back of the net, you would bet on Bowen and Benrahma over Brooks or Solanke. And at the moment, that's been the difference. 73.5 minutes gone. Rothwell pushing into the West Ham pitch and gets a free kick. West Ham third and gets a free kick. Just gonna double check if there were any other changes that have happened. No, West Ham have not made a change yet. Rothwell over the ball. Ball in. Dealing with the flick doesn't reach more. But the ball in wasn't good enough in the first place. Rothwell, Moore's looking back to Rothwell and going, "Hello," that ball landed about 5 yards short of where it needed to go. These are our last two changes. We've already made three, haven't we? With Yes, those are our final two changes. So Max Aarons was never going to make the whole game. He just doesn't have the fitness for it yet. So he's off with James Hill coming in to slot in at right back because we don't have any other right backs. And David Brooks, who also was never going to make the whole match because he hasn't played more than, I don't think he'd played more than an hour of football in one sitting since coming back from his injury. So I think this is the longest period of time that he's actually played in a game, 75 minutes. He's off for Antoine Semenyo, who will be good to see back on the pitch, considering how long he's been out injured. Yeah, he's absolutely still a centre back, but he'll push up because there's no point in having three at the back. We need the goal. He'll try and do what he can from the right hand side, but he won't do much more than that. West Ham haven't made any subs yet. No, JJ. And glad you appreciate the kit. I think it's pretty popular amongst Bournemouth fans. I think it looks better on the pitch as well. It was slightly mixed reception initially, but actually out in game, I think it looks even better. Zabani on the ball with very much just camping in their half at the moment, but we've got to actually make something from it. Hill plays it to Semenyo on the right-hand side, who can't get past Emerson, so plays it back to Mepham, to Zabani, to Kirkes on the left-hand side, going up against Bowen, wins a throw-in. Oh, that rhymed. Ball through the middle. Solanke up against two players. Keeps it. Does very nicely. Looks for the pass. Can't quite find it. He's blocked off. Dinks the ball into the box. And it's more Semenyo. They can't make anything happen for it. Cleared to Kirkes. Kirkes doesn't take the ball under control when he should have done. Tries to header it to Solanke, but it goes to a West Ham player. Kufal to Bowen. Bowen back to Kufal to Souček, who tries to clear it long. Doesn't really do very well. And it's back with us and Rothwell. Mepham into Semenyo, 1-2. Plays it wide to Kirkes. Kirkes puts the ball in the box. Good crawl. Solanke heads it wide. That was asking a hell of a lot for a header from there. West Ham making their first substitution. Yeah, it's almost for Semenyo. He almost had that opportunity there. Didn't quite fall for him. Huge thank you again for everyone sticking around. The 20 or so of you that are here. Ex-Cherry Danny Ings is on the pitch. Comes on for Antonio. Danny Ings clearly needs a trip to Turkey for a hair transplant. Happens to the best of us. Just embrace the bold. "78.5 minutes gone. Wouldn't be surprised if there's just a hell of a lot of balls into the box and camping in the opposition third here. Hey, I told you. Happens to the best of us. Ball into the box. More fouls again. He wants a corner, but is he given a foul or is he given a goal kick? Ball in the box from Billing, and yeah, he's given a foul. It would have been a corner, but he's given a foul. Cliver trying to get forward, who we haven't seen really all that much of since coming on, apart from a two early bits of play. Forces the ball back to Areola, who smashes it wide. Now for a throw in. Areola's out, trying to marshal his troops, get them into the right position that he wants, but I think with more in the box now, you just need Cliver and Semenyo get close to him, select Rome, just start providing balls in. Over on the right-hand side with Hill and Semenyo, and it gets recycled back into the centre-backs. Now with Kirkes and Cliver. Keep passing it around down the wings and then not really doing much with it. Occasionally we'll create the space to make a cross, but I think we'll hear a lot of talk about how reminiscent this was of Gary O'Neill's Bournemouth. It really hasn't really changed. Apart from the odd moment where we press high, which we did under O'Neill anyway, and even more long balls, which at least means we're not pussing around with it ball at the back as much as we maybe used to. But long balls up against this West Ham side doesn't really necessarily produce anything for you. Nice ball forward from Hill to Semenyo, who's up against Aged on the right hand side. Rothwell over to Zabani. Zabani on the ball. Inside to Kirkes. Zabani then plays a bit of ping pong, gets the ball back. Plays out wide to Semenyo. Hill back to Semenyo. Tries more, bounces back to Semenyo. Semenyo shoots, falls to Solanke. Solanke goes around the keeper! Yay! Need a little bit of luck sometimes. Sometimes you just need a little bit of luck. And in that instance, a totally scuffed shot from Semenyo falls to Solanke, who goes around the keeper. You don't hear that very often anymore. And he is onside. There's just showing the replay there. He's very definitely onside. There's no worry about that. He times the run perfectly well, gets that luck, and does everything he needs to. And Zuma just completely forgets about it. But there you go. Dom Solanke on the board, first game of the season. That's what you want to see. He hasn't scored a single goal in pre-season. Didn't score a single goal in pre-season. 82nd, 83rd minute. Pops up with the equalizer. You'd love to see it. Now we've got the players on the pitch to kind of go all out for the winner. You never know. But West Ham are on the attack again. Paquetá with the ball, plays it through to Ings. Ings shoots. Ooh, deflects wide for a corner. I haven't updated the banner yet. I've been talking about the goal. There we go. 1-1. But West Ham with the corner, and this is our weakness. So, God, I hope we don't just throw away a point straight away. Ball into the box, Neto punches it away. Rothwell's pushing forward. Neto's down, but doesn't. But the play isn't stopped. Neto's been showing an injury. Ball into the box. Emerson throat clears long. Oh, there was a hell of a lot of ping pong there. I don't know. Neto went down injured. Neto looked like he was about. Neto looked like he wanted to go down injured, and then just didn't. He sort of like waited. Okay, that was weird from Ings. Terrible clearance from Mepham falls to Paquetá, who smashes against the post. Yeah, don't worry, Sean. I noticed. I changed it. God, got Senesi taken off injured. I don't want to see Neto going off injured, particularly when, as we currently stand, Bournemouth don't have any subs left. Bournemouth have used all five of their substitutions. So I really hope this isn't an injury that sees him go off, because we need to stick to, I don't know, Dom Solanke coming goal, maybe. Michael B. Jordan posting on. Well, I mean, he better be watching the game. Yeah, I'm not calling it X. The most stupid billionaire in the world, which is saying something. I don't really want to pay attention too much to what Elon Musk thinks. Jordan, 1:45 a.m. watching from Sydney, Australia. Oh, we've got a second Aussie joining us. You and David Codron joining us all the way from sunny Australia. Oh, God. Boys, can we not mess around with it at the back? Nice chunk of luck there. Rothwell hammers it long, but doesn't find a Bournemouth player. And it's this could go either way. I'm not used to that, considering you went into this, but yeah, true. I'm glad to see someone actually making some substitutions. But, you know, Max Aarons and David Brooks were never going to make the full game, so they were always coming off. But the other ones, at least, to see Christie and a few others. Oh, Semenyo. Oh, that's a cynical as hell tackle from Emerson. The crowd paying for a red. But yeah, it's just a win. JJ, West Ham do not need to win this game. Bournemouth will be a decent side this season. A draw away from home is a good result. You don't need to worry about saying that West Ham need to win. A draw is a perfectly good result for West Ham in this game. Yeah, that's has to be a yellow card. Shame you don't get reds for that, but I have a feeling we might pull one of those at some point this season. So, 87 minutes, 20 seconds. Rothwell with a free kick, 40 yards out. Going to be targeting Moore and Billing at the back post without a doubt. And it's driven in, and it's not very good. And it bounces around. We've still got the ball, though. Philip Billing puts the ball into the box. Ends up with Semenyo at the back post, who keeps it in. Play it back. Good. So that should go to Rothwell, who goes past Ben Rama. Ends up at Mepham. Mepham looking for an option to pass. No one's making it. Mepham trying to get past Ings. He doesn't do it, but the ball does land with Rothwell. Rothwell's still going and runs into two players, and the ball gets taken away from him. He just needs to pass the ball there. Great work from Mepham. Goes to Semenyo, who bursts inside, waiting for an opportunity, shoots with his weak foot, bounces off the West Ham player. And now it's Kirkes on the left-hand side. It's all go. Kirkes, long ball into the box, goes to Moore. He heads it back in. Clivert flicks it on, but cleared by Souček. Hill headers it, and it ends up at the keeper. Oh, boy. Yep, fingers crossed. We've got a chance. We've definitely got a chance. Sean, yep, Semenyo's looked decent. Considering he's got a centre-back supporting him at right-back, he has been looking good. Can hear Moy shouting away, coming through the mics. Steady. We just need to get up the pitch. I predicted a draw. I will take a draw. This is always going to be Bournemouth dominating possession. It's whether we could do anything with the ball. Ben Rama trying to get past Hill. Hill doing really well there to shepherd the ball out for a goal kick. Hill's got the physicality. Hill has definitely got the physicality to become a Premier League defender, without a doubt. It's just a case of him getting the chance, and he needs to just get the opportunity. Yeah, he needs to get the opportunity, and he needs to actually, show what he can do when he gets those chances. I still need a penalty. Hey, if we could get a penalty, it'd be great. We just need to not concede one. Clivert trying a flick doesn't quite work, but we do get a throw-in. Solanke with the ball on the left, in his hands, throws it back to Kirkes. And we are just about to hit 90 minutes. Waiting for the board, but Sean is already telling me there are 6 minutes of added time. I'm not sure. They're just really making sure that they really take account of the substitutions and the goals, because I'm not sure where 6 minutes would have come from last season. This would have been maybe 3 minutes of added time. Moore does well there, wins us a corner. Just remember, guys, I am behind some of you. So right now, we've just hit 90 minutes and 30 seconds. So but yeah, Sean, I fully agree. I've mentioned it before. The corners have been shocking today, really. Even if they haven't hit the first man, they've not been any good. Ball into the box, straight at the keeper. My word. We've had a lot of corners today as well. Actually, I'm not going to look at SofaScore because I will I'll probably be spoiled on something. A offside. Is that their first offside? Again, not looking at SofaScore now because I'll just get spoiled. But 91 minutes and 30 seconds. The European champions are struggling to beat Bournemouth on the first day of the season. Dear. Bit of head tennis, ping-ponging about, back to front. Ball ends up in Bournemouth possession with Kirkes on the left-hand side, who gets fouled by Danny Ings. Rothwell plays it quickly, and we're pushing up the pitch with Clivert, who comes inside. Semenyo wants it. Semenyo gets it. Nice turn. Turns twice. Maybe could have played it a bit quicker, but he does well to keep hold of the ball. James Hill on the right-hand side wants to cross it. Maybe doesn't have the ability to, so he plays it through to Semenyo Long, who plays it back to Hill. Just wants someone to put that ball in the box. Rothwell, loads of time. Ball in, and it's miles away from everyone. Oh, boy. That's one bit of Rothwell's game that just hasn't been very good today. His crosses and his free kicks have been dreadful. All of our set pieces have been pretty darn poor. Ironically, the only good set piece we had ended up with a short ball going to Rothwell, who hit the bar from 20 yards. Apart from that, his crossing from his crossing from free kicks and everyone else's crossing from corners has been dreadful, which is great. Free kick against West Ham from that long ball. Jordan Ibrahimovic asking, what do you think Senesi's injury is? Paquetá with the yellow card. Bear looked like a quad tear, not pleasant. All depends on scan, but if it's a light strain, maybe a week or so. Worst case, a tear is 7 to 9 weeks. Yeah. That's the thing with injuries, is that you don't know how bad they are until you hear news of it later on. The fact that he was walking okay on it is not really indicative of how serious the injury is. Almost inevitably going to be West Ham's final change, with Paquetá coming off for Cornet. I wonder how many more games Paquetá will be playing in a West Ham shirt. Man City had a bid rejected for £70 million, I think it was. So we'll see. I mean, if West Ham want a Gundogan replacement, I think Paquetá would be a fantastic choice. But it's whether they can get that deal over the line. But if they do, I think I already had City's favourite, so I think I definitely will be now. Is Kirk joining? No, it'll be just from me. It'll be a quick summary, and we'll say goodbye. I don't think there's a hell of a lot to delve into in this one, for the most part, to be fair. Danny Ings coming into the box, falls to Cornet, who just tumbles to the ground, but he's offside anyway. Yeah, that was Cornet falling over there in the box. That looked. I was a little bit worried there. He did look like he went down easily, but an offside was given first. I have a feeling. Yes, it was. Yeah, it was Cornet that was offside. I don't think Danny Ings would have been. Ings has had a decent impact since coming on. Obviously, no goals, but I think he's put himself about well. That would have been a hell of an introduction for Cornet. To come on the pitch, and his first touch is to not even take a touch, but win a penalty. 1 minute of added time to go. Neto fires the ball long. Really nice first touch from Kluivert, but he's surrounded by players, can't get the ball out, and the ball is backed up the pitch by West Ham for a Bournemouth throw. Looks like that was quick because the cameraman's completely lost sight. Ball in the corner with Kiefer Moore. Plays it nicely to Solanke, who tries to play a flick, but it goes straight to Souček. West Ham are pushing out with a counter. Ball played long into Ben Rama. James going up against Hill, but the cross is straight at the goalkeeper. Really lucky he didn't decide to shoot there because, wow, Neto was far out from his goal. Well, there's definitely a yellow card in here somewhere. Semenyo, great work from Semenyo, pushing up the pitch, has to play it through to Moore. He's played it behind him. Moore's on the right-hand side, tries to cross it in, gets blocked. Pass from Semenyo had to be in his stride. James Hill pushing up the pitch, still has it, loses it. And he fouls Ben Rama, and Mepham kicks the ball away stupidly. He's got to get a yellow card for that. Yep. What the hell is Mepham thinking there? That's the kind of thing that players won't do anymore because the ball's just sat there. No West Ham players around him. The game is over, and Mepham smashes the ball out of the stadium, and he gets a yellow card for it because that is so stupid. The referee's going to blow his whistle. There you go. Final whistle. Mepham just picked up a yellow card for nothing. Blimey, that's stupid. Where's my full-time banner? Full-time. 1-1. I called a draw. 1-1. Right. Get your thoughts together. Have a think about how you feel about that result. I'm pretty pleased. It's not amazing. It wasn't the greatest game. It wasn't the best performance by either team, I would say. West Ham did their thing. But think about what your reaction is to that game. And I will come back to you in a couple of minutes once we've had a short break and we'll do a bit of a review. See you in a bit. Hang on, let me unmute myself. Welcome back to the review of Bournemouth 1, West Ham 1. Bournemouth's first draw in many a game. I think it's roughly 20 odd, including pre-season games. But let's say well-earned draw. I think it was a relatively fair result in terms of neither chance creating all that many clear-cut opportunities. West Ham, I think, will definitely be gutted, obviously, because it's a goal conceded within the last 10 minutes of the game when they were winning 1-0. The goal that they scored was a really quality finish from Jared Bowen, but they had an even better opportunity through Souček in the first half that they didn't score. And we'll have a look at the stats later, but I certainly think in terms of XG, West Ham will definitely have... well, actually, maybe it'd be close because Solanke's was basically a tap-in. But let's just have a look at some people's thoughts. So, Sean, ugly draw isn't too bad, if that's which it did end up being the final score. Good point, says AFC Bournemouth Germany. Draw a fair result. Yeah, I think overall, probably just about a fair result. Semenyo going Super Saiyan there. He did have that bit at the end where he burst through 3 players was brilliant. He's got the physicality to do that. People talking about Solanke, maybe we need another striker. Like, if Semenyo stays fit, and people want a player that will just run beyond, stay hold, and just like has the physicality to just do the things that maybe you want a bit more from Solanke. Semenyo can do that. He's just had so many fucking fitness issues. He's been injured for way too long. But I really do think Semenyo could definitely be a difference maker at times for us this season. Archie, thank you for joining me all the time. Says I will take it. Semenyo impressing. Yeah, I really do think he was decent. JJ, thank you for joining us as a West Ham fan. You'll do your business. I'm sure you'll be fine. Cheers, John. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully, see you next time. I'm not sure anyone needs one, but yeah, you've got enough quality. Ben Rahmi can take set pieces pretty darn well. Doan, thank you for joining us at the end here. Good point for today, although they did not play like I'd expected. Yep, it wasn't the rock and roll we were expecting, but it's away at Liverpool next week. I'm pretty sure you'll see something going horribly right or horribly wrong in that game. Sean, Semenyo definitely should give him more minutes. When he's not injured, I'm sure he will be. Slanky owned 1 goal behind the top scorer. Yep. Haaland wasn't getting many goals in pre-season. Haaland was on a streak of like no goals in 6 or something. He was going through one hell of a dry patch before he put two behind. 2 in the back of the net against Burnley. Thank you for your company as always, Ben. And hopefully see you on the next watch along. Roy, fair result. Thank you. Sean, point to point. Phoenix, thank you for joining me. Cheers, AFC Bournemouth Germany. Phoenix was so tight against us. I don't think David Moyes has ever lost to AFC Bournemouth. I'm fairly certain that's his record, that he's never been beaten by an AFC Bournemouth side. Well done to the Antipodians for staying. Yes, thank you very much to our viewers from Australia for sticking with us. Talking about Kane. Yep, Gene, I agree. Things will get better. Good chance to get 3 points against Spurs. Yep. We did have all 3 strikers on the pitch in the end. And hopefully, well, that's the thing. He's my favourite to get sacked in a first. So we'll see whether we actually play him again. Yeah, it depends what comes through in the TV. It depends what comes through in the cameras. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of Bournemouth fans that would like to see a lot more noise in stadiums at times. But you sit in the north stand and you'll hear the noise. Nilo, I discussed it in the first before we even started, or really right at the start of the game. I expected tactically from this game Bournemouth weren't going to press, because what's the point? The only reason a press works is if they decide to play the ball at the back. West Ham have no care for that. They don't care. There were 3 instances I remember where we pressed, and we pressed effectively against West Ham. And it was generally when Zuma dilly-dallied on the ball and Ryan Christie pressed him really well. Other than that, West Ham just hit it long all the time. You can't press a team that just whack it long every single time. And the other thing West Ham really want to do is they want Bournemouth to have the ball in the middle of the park, then win it back and just counter, which they do really effectively. That was how they got their goal. Rothwell lost the ball in the middle third. Within 2 passes, Bowen shoots and scores. So the press was never going to work in this game because West Ham are one of the few teams in this entire division where a high press is going to do nothing. So Bournemouth didn't try and press. They just didn't bother. And they saved their energy for what will be a much more important game to press against Liverpool. Oh, boy. Yeah, the away support is almost always better. There you go, as I explained. I may be wrong here, but I think I saw we beat him once when he was a Preston manager. Okay, we'll say in the Prem then. We'll say he's never lost to Bournemouth in the Prem. Right, okay. I give my thoughts on the tactic, just bits of tactical there in terms of why we didn't press. I think there were elements of Bournemouth's game that were okay. My word, the set pieces need a hell of a lot of work because fair enough, it's West Ham. Look, you're going to struggle with pressing with set pieces against West Ham. They are a team designed to deal with offensive and defensive set pieces, but our crosses into the box, particularly for set pieces, need so much work. My word, do they do that? Solanke was isolated too often, quite frequently. Need to see Brooks, Christie, and whoever it is on the left getting closer to him at times, particularly if we're going to play so many long balls. The tactic in the first half, very weirdly, seemed to be just play loads of long balls to Anthony, going up against Kufal, and he basically lost that battle completely for the most part. The frustration I had, play long balls. Long balls are fine, but they just always seem to come from the keeper. We pass it around a little bit at the back. It go to Neto. Neto would stride out of his area because West Ham don't care if Neto has the ball. And then rather than ever pass it to one of the centre-backs again, he always played it long, and we always lost out. So there needs to be some kind of work on just how we generate those long balls, because it's just there was a lot of failure when it came to just seemingly basic plans that we had. So we'll wait and see what happens with that going forward. But as I said, West Ham is a team that we pretty much won't play again until we face them in the away game, because no one in the Premier League plays like West Ham anymore. They just don't. The closest you're going to get is maybe Luton, but they have way more energy and press and work even harder than West Ham do. So, yeah, West Ham is a very unique challenge in the Premier League now. And as such, it may be one of the reasons why Moyes doesn't last much longer in the job. But we'll see. Yeah, there's some thoughts I had about about this lack of success that we've got going forward. Let's just throw up some of the stats one more time rather than just have my face on screen the whole way through. I've actually remembered to put the background in this time. Right, statistically, in the end, expected goals ended up being relatively even, and I think the main reason for that is if we look at what Solanke's XG chance of scoring his goal was, it's probably going to be about 0.95, or roughly, because he doesn't shoot until he's round the keeper, so he's almost guaranteed to score that one. Our XG was looking terrible until Solanke's goal, and in the end, that made things look a lot more even than it actually was in terms of the genuine goal-scoring chances. If we have a look at the momentum bar, we took a lot of possession domination without really making all that much happen in the second half, and that culminated in our goal. West Ham came into it a little bit towards the end, but then we pushed on right at the last second, maybe with looking like we might get an opportunity, which in the end we didn't do. As for other stats, shots on target was relatively even by the end. We got 10 corners and did nothing with them. Nothing. The best we got was Rothwell hitting the bar from a short piece routine, short piece routine, and managed to mostly deal with West Ham. Thank God they only had 4 corners, because if they had more than that, whew, boy. Not a single offside from us, 2 from them right at the end of the game, thanks to Ings and Cornet. Fouls, yellow cards, 4 for West Ham, 1 in the last second of the game for Mepham because he kicked the ball away like an idiot. Throws, goal kicks. 2 big chances. What was our other big chance? I'll have to have a look at that. I'm trying to remember what our other big chance was. They might be talking about the ball that came off Semenyo's chest. What about counterattacks, goals prevented? Neto is slightly under on that one, seemingly. So our expected goals on target certainly was better than our expected goals. In terms of that stat, at least, expected goals on target, we hit 1.64. They hit 0.81. So when we actually hit the target, we did all right. But we were more accurate in shots, even if we weren't making the keeper do a lot of work. Passes, dribbles needs to be better. Crosses, shambolic. Long balls, not too dissimilar. Accurate passes, decent. The duels, hopefully we don't suffer too much on that. We need to be a much more aggressive team at times. I think West Ham ended up sort of beating us on that one in moments. Last thing to look at, I suppose, in terms of players that impressed, as I think I've seen a couple of people mention, Phoenix saying he's impressed by Kirkes and Semenyo, probably the most in that game. And Brooks looked quality, even though the team couldn't link up with him as much. I want to see. I think Brooks could be the star of our team this season. Keep getting his fitness up. Actually, get players to work well with him. I think Billing at times was playing off the right-hand side, didn't link up as well as we would have liked with him. When he actually came back over to the left, I think he was more effective. Aarons, once he's got a bit more fitness and he can actually bomb down the wing, because he just didn't do that very much this game. He didn't get forward as much as I would have liked. Neither did Kirkes, really. When he did get forward, he looked dangerous, but he didn't get forward as much as I'd like. Fullbacks are vital in this Iraola side, which is why it's so weird. We've really still only got one left back. Fullbacks are so important for Iraola. So we need to see a lot more from them. Yeah, definitely. It's just maintaining that domination. Maybe we should have signed him, but I think I'm pretty happy with our midfield. We can't have someone on the pitch like Richie just for set pieces. Two big chances. Well, there was a Solanke goal. It's just I'm struggling on the second one. It might have been the one that came off Semenyo's chest that he just didn't actually sort of shoot with, but he was very close to goal. I don't know. I'll have to have a look and see which one that actually was. But in terms of stream for next week, I'm actually going to the game. So there will be a bunch of games that I'm going to, all the ones near me. Luke, thank you for joining us late on. Brooks, Aarons and Kirkes, Semenyo and Clive look good off the bench. I didn't see as much of Clive as I would have liked. Clive, I think, needs to start for me. Anthony just wasn't very good generally today, which is a shame, but he just wasn't very good. Semenyo definitely had an impact. He gets an assist, I think. Deflected shot that ended up in Solanke's path. So Semenyo gets an assist. Brooks loved Brooks. I just want even more from him, and he needs support to do that. Kirkes, once he gets forward a bit more, same with Aarons, who I think did decently as well against Ben Rama. Ben Rama's a tough player to deal with, and I think he did generally relatively well with that. But I think Kirkes was good. Aarons was good. Zabani had a couple of moments, but generally defended. In fact, Antonio really didn't have a sniff. I think Senesi and Zabani did really well defensively. And when things just got a little bit muddled in their goal. If you look back at their goal, Billing is at centre back. Senesi's out of position. And that is partly caused by Rothwell losing the ball in the wrong spot. There's a number of people to blame for their goal, but it's so avoidable. It's incredibly frustrating. We get our massive slice of luck for our goal, to be fair. And then going forward as well, I think Solanke needs more support, but I think he generally did a pretty decent job at holding the ball up. And obviously he got the goal. Players coming off the bench, I think Hill had a couple of moments where he did very well defensively. Didn't really need to do all that much otherwise. Rothwell in that number 8, I think, is the player we'll have going in that number 6 position, is the player we'll have there going forward for a while until we bring in a DM. He had his good moments, but in the end, his mistake led to the goal. So that was very frustrating. Billing, I need to see more of. I think he was played on the right at times, which I don't think we got the best out of him at all. And Christie's just Christie. I just think if he could if he could combine a little bit better with the players around him, and I don't think he got much of the ball in dangerous positions. I think he was fine, but the best aspects of Christie will come out when we're in our pressing game, and we didn't do that today. So I don't know. All around, it was quite a mixed bag. There were some really, really poor parts of our game, but then there were some decent aspects to it. In the end, I don't think West Ham were incredible either, and a 1-1 draw I think is a relatively fair result. But we'll have to see what happens going forward in the next few games, because the next few games are going to be very, very different to this one. Whatever you thought of this game, throw that out the window, because up against the next few matches, it's going to be ridiculous. Well done. Your starting 11 pin prediction, bang on. Yeah, I think in this game, maybe playing Billing as the 10 would have been better, but then we didn't really... I don't want Christie playing in the 8, and I don't want Traore in the 8. I think Traore actually playing instead of Christie probably would have been the better call. Christie does more than Philip in the middle. But Billing has the end product. If we could mesh them together, it'd be great. Yeah, I somewhat agree with that. Right, last one. Let's have a look at what the rest of the scores were today. Obviously, Burnley losing to Man City in the Friday game. Arsenal beat Nottingham Forest in the early kickoff today, 2-1. Devastated that Nottingham Forest scored there, because I had Saliba in my fantasy team. I'm kind of almost hoping he went off before that goal went in and might get the clean sheet bonus points. Sheffield United, unsurprisingly, losing their first game at home to Crystal Palace. There's the Bournemouth draw. Let's just have a look at see who scored in that one. Odsonne Edouard. Fair enough. 49th minute. Then we have, obviously, Bournemouth West Ham. Brighton destroying Luton. As I think I got this score prediction bang on. Not in my Super 6, but in a different prediction thing. You had Solly Marsh, 2 penalties in this game. João Pedro with a penalty. Carlton Morris with a penalty. Simon Adingra, who's a player that a lot of people are keeping an eye on in 85th minute. And Nevin Ferguson with 95th. I had João Pedro on my bench in my FPL, so I'm annoyed I didn't start him. And finally, Everton versus Fulham. Bobby De Cordova-Reid scoring their goal here. Lineups. No Danjuma. No Danjuma in the starting lineup, but he did come off the bench. So I'm hoping he has a decent season, even though I kind of worry that maybe they'll still go down, even regardless. Right. I've been live for 2 hours, 46 minutes, so I think it's about time I rest my voice, have a chill, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm really looking forward to watching the Aston Villa-Newcastle game when that starts shortly. But thank you to everyone for joining me. Numbers weren't as big as I think I was hoping for. We hovered around the 23 mark pretty much all day, which is decent. Last second, for those of you that are still here, please do hit the like button. If you haven't already, please just hit the like button. Does us a favor. And I'd just be interested would love to get as much interaction with the likes and the comments as possible. If for whatever mad reason you're watching this back to have a look at my reactions and you're still watching the replay of this, throw a comment in. What did you think of the game? What did you think of how did you like the watch along? Any suggestions you can make for improving these? I have some ideas. I really should have put more into this, but it's first game of the season. It's going to be a couple of weeks before you see me again on a watch along, so I'll try and get a bit more involved on some of the stuff I want to be happening around me. But yeah, thank you very much for everyone watching along. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the weekend. Your day will not have been ruined by Bournemouth, which is great, but we still have a hell of a long season to go. Before I go, do have a brief thank you to everyone that has donated, not just the monthly members, because some of you made one-off donations, but certainly everyone that has donated at all to Cherries Red Army. Thank you so much for your donations. Please go to buymeacoffee.com/Cherries Red Army if you want to donate, whether it be a one-off donation or want to become a monthly patron. Hugely appreciate it. But thank you very much to everyone for joining us on the first watch along of the season. It is a 1-1 draw. Iraola is off the mark with a point. But next game, we return to the scene of an obliteration at Anfield next weekend. I will be there because I'm a glutton for punishment, so there will be no watch along. But I hope those of you that do watch and join me again for the next watch along have a great time the rest of this season, and I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. In the meantime, I'm gonna just lie down for a bit. See you in the next one, and up the cherries.